Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we unpack sources to bring you the most important nuggets of knowledge and insight. Today, we're diving into something truly fascinating: how technology, which often feels like, a constant distraction, is being powerfully leveraged for a profound, ancient mission.
That's right. We're exploring what's called the digital and AI strategy for preparing for the end-time harvest. It's about seeing how cutting-edge tools, AI and digital platforms are being applied to a spiritual mission that's thousands of years old. It's really transforming how global outreach can even happen.
In our source material for this deep dive, it comes from a truly passionate speaker, Tien Guan, also known as Elder T. He shared these insights in a recent fellowship message. And what's compelling about his perspective is how deeply personal his journey is, yet it's interwoven with a remarkably keen eye on global trends and tech shifts.
Absolutely. So our mission in this deep dive is to unpack how these digital and AI technologies are being harnessed for global outreach, understand the profound urgency behind this movement, and perhaps most importantly, consider what this whole transformation could mean for you listening right now.
Okay, so to really grasp Elder T's urgent focus on digital outreach, we probably need to start with his personal story, right? What were those pivotal aha moments that shaped his vision?
You're right. His journey is absolutely foundational. He grew up in the Tanglin Fellowship, was even in leadership there for years. One of the earliest and maybe most profound moments came during a very difficult 3.5-year financial crisis back in the late 1980s. This period really drove him to study the Bible deeply, looking for, breakthrough solutions.
And then something really transformative happened.
Yeah, in 1989, he went on his honeymoon to Jerusalem. He described seeing young soldiers, just kids really, with machine guns patrolling the streets. And it was at an International Christian Embassy of Jerusalem conference during that trip that things really sort of clicked for him.
Oh.
Well, all the biblical references he'd been studying Israel, Jerusalem, they suddenly connected with real-world headlines he was seeing.
Wow. Okay, so connecting ancient texts to modern reality.
Exactly. That led him to start sharing about Israel, God's time clock, and later, insights on money and the end times around the Y2K period. But interestingly, his focus shifted, again, maybe over 10 years ago, at a ministry conference in Bangkok, the Agnos Asia conference.
What happened there? What sparked the shift?
He heard leaders from the Indo-China region describe these plentiful spiritual harvests, like lots of people ready to hear the message, but a severe lack of laborers, people to actually reach them. That was a really profound realization for him.
That sounds like a powerful moment. It really highlights how personal experiences can just shape a global vision. So this shifted his focus dramatically, not just discerning the end times, but actively preparing for them.
Yes, preparing by reaching the millions who hadn't been reached yet.
And this preparedness, he realized, would need to involve digital tools.
Exactly. He recalls a couple of specific moments that really grabbed his attention. In 2014, Facebook acquired WhatsApp for a staggering $19 billion. Remember that?
I do. And WhatsApp had, no revenue, no profit at the time?
Right. And then, just 2 years later, 2016, Microsoft bought LinkedIn for $26.2 billion with its 450 million user profiles.
And he openly questioned, are they seeing something I'm not seeing? That's quite a turning point.
It is. It wasn't just about the money, the huge price tags. What Elder T started to realize was the true value these tech giants saw, their unparalleled reach and connectivity.
Ah, okay, so not just apps, but platforms for connection.
Precisely. He saw that if companies were valuing connection and audience at billions, then these weren't just apps, they were kind of the new nations, the modern town squares.
That realization must have fundamentally shifted his whole approach to ministry.
It did. That was the real start of his digital journey, as he calls it.
So how did this impact his own ministry? Teach his word. He mentioned his passion for this started way back in '99.
Yeah, his goal was to package teaching material in multimedia formats to help people not just learn, but actively share and teach God's word. He noted that churches often take in a lot of teaching, but don't always effectively give out.
Right, empowering others to teach.
Exactly. His early efforts were pretty pioneering for the time. He learned PowerPoint, learned how to use MP3s. He could pack tens of hours of audio onto a single CD. That was a big leap from cassette tapes, wasn't it?
Huge leap.
The ministry itself kicked off with a $30,000 donation. Their first big project was packaging the entire 3-day Reinhard Bonke Fire conference onto a CD. Faced a lot of challenges, apparently, but they got it done.
Incredible dedication, especially using the tech available then. But things change fast.
They do. After about 15 years, around 2016, technology forced a major pivot.
Let me guess, laptops stopped having DVD players.
You got it. That was a clear sign. It basically pushed them to shift entirely to the cloud and digital-first content. So for the last 9 years or so, he's been intensely focused on finding and using tools and software for equipping people digitally.
Okay, this brings us to the core why behind all this urgency he feels.
Yeah.
He grounds it in a specific biblical mandate, doesn't he?
Yes, very much so. He points to Matthew 24.14, which talks about this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in the whole world as a testimony to all nations.
And then the end will come.
And also Isaiah 6.8, that question, whom shall I send and who will go for us? And the response, here am I, send me. It's about answering that call.
And when we look at the actual reality, the numbers of the unreached, they're pretty staggering. He used stats from the Joshua Project.
Yes, a global research initiative. Out of about 8.2 billion people in the world,
Yeah.
a staggering 3.5 billion, that's 33.5%, are considered totally unreached by the gospel message.
3.5 billion, that's almost half the planet.
It's huge. And if you look at it by people groups, distinct cultural or linguistic groups, out of over 17,000 groups, more than 7,200, nearly 42% are totally unreached.
And geographically.
The majority are concentrated in Asia. Just Asia, Southeast Asia, has 650 million people, with a very high percentage considered unreached.
And the language barrier alone seems like such a massive hurdle for any kind of global mission.
Oh, absolutely. He pointed out that English, which many resources are in, is spoken by less than 20% of the top 20 most spoken languages worldwide.
So even with amazing efforts like, say, the YouVersion Bible app having 2,000 languages or the Jesus film in 2,000 languages.
Right, incredible achievements. But the question he raises is it truly enough to reach everyone, especially in their heart language and cultural context?
It really makes you think about resource availability. Did he give specific examples?
He did. Nations like Vietnam, 100 million people, less than 5% believers, very few resources in Vietnamese. Thailand, 72 million, only about 0.5% believers. Japan, Indonesia, with 280 million, similar challenges.
And the concern is?
The concern is, if a major spiritual awakening happened, would local churches be completely overwhelmed? Would they have the resources in the local language to disciple all the new believers? Probably not, without a different approach.
That paints a really powerful picture of the challenge. Okay, but this is precisely where digital and AI come in as potential game changers.
Exactly. He describes them as tsunamis. First, that massive wave of digital transformation even before COVID, then the unstoppable surge of artificial intelligence after COVID really hit.
Right. And the critical question he poses is, if every other industry is being reshaped by this AI revolution, how is the church harnessing it for this mission?
A very pointed question.
So let's get into how these technologies are actually breaking down those old barriers.
Yeah.
We talked about language, geography, reaching restricted nations.
This is where digital and AI really shine. For language, AI allows for incredibly rapid translation, and not just word for word, but adapting for cultural context. That's huge.
A massive hurdle potentially lowered. What about geography?
Well, Wi-Fi, smartphones, tools like Zoom, they've just obliterated distance in many ways. He mentioned even seniors in their 70s and 80s attending church online now.
And for those in restricted nations facing persecution.
Digital tools offer a way to disciple and mentor people without necessarily revealing their identities publicly. It provides a layer of safety and connection that wasn't possible before.
The potential power of AI, specifically in ministry, sounds, well, astounding. He said it can transform audio and video content in minutes.
Yeah, doing things like text to video, text to image, advanced file conversions, transcription, basically making content creation and distribution much faster and accessible in multiple languages.
And he mentioned something about human avatars.
This is where it gets pretty futuristic, but it's happening now. He has his own cloned avatars.
Cloned avatars, seriously.
Yes. Digital versions of himself that can speak Japanese, Vietnamese, Thai, delivering his messages with natural expressions and movement.
Wow.
And the key is the AI lip sync. It provides perfectly synchronized lip sync content, so it looks natural, like he's actually speaking that language.
That's incredible for global reach. It overcomes the language barrier with a really personal touch.
Exactly. And it empowers pretty much everyone to get involved by leveraging what he calls the digital nations.
Meaning the big social media platforms?
Right. Think about it. Most of us are already on these platforms daily. He listed the giants by user base. Facebook, 2.7 billion. YouTube, 2.5 billion. WhatsApp, 2 billion. TikTok, 1.5 billion.
Instagram, LinkedIn, Telegram, Twitter.
Billions and billions of users.
These are huge digital populations,
Yes.
and this connects directly to individual action.
How so?
You don't necessarily need to plan and fund a big mission trip anymore to participate. A simple tap on your phone can send a relevant scripture, maybe a worship song or a prayer, in another language, using easily available tools like Google Translate. It's about equipping ordinary people to engage right where they are.
Using the platforms they already use every day. Makes sense. Now, speaking of specific tools, he did a deep dive into something he found really exciting. The interactive Telegram bot. Sounds like more than just messaging. Oh, it's way more. It's a really powerful platform. It allows ministries or individuals to create their own branded bots, like a mini app within Telegram.
Okay, like a Tanglin fellowship bot, for example.
Exactly. And within that bot, you can systematically organize and provide access to all sorts of content. Recorded talks, speaker bios, learning management systems, videos, links to websites, even payment gateways or PowerPoint slides, all in one place.
All consolidated. And he mentioned on-demand delivery.
Yes, which is crucial with, everyone's short attention spans these days. You can push content out, but people access it when they want it, when it's relevant to them.
It sounds like it creates a whole engagement process.
He called it a complete engagement funnel. You can connect with people, converse through the bot, potentially convert them to deeper engagement, handle queries directly, track interactions, segment your audience lists.
And even qualify leads, in a sense. Plus content protection for sensitive stuff.
Right, especially important for restricted areas.
Did he give a concrete example we could check out?
He did. His own ministry's bot, Teach His Word. You can just search Teach His Word bot on Telegram or use the URL t.me Teach His Word bot.
Okay, Teach His Word bot on Telegram.
It's already multi-language English and Chinese, with Thai and Vietnamese coming soon. And he stressed that other ministries or even individuals can set up their own branded bots like this.
What kind of content is on his bot?
He mentioned, for instance, the late David Pawson's Normal Christian Life series, including his big surveys Unlocking the Old Testament and Unlocking the New Testament.
David Pawson, a well-known Bible teacher.
Exactly. And here's where the AI magic really comes in again.
Okay.
AI can take, say, a long 45 or 50-minute video teaching and automatically generate a concise podcast-style summary, just a few minutes long, to entice people to check out the full teaching.
That's smart, like a trailer for the content.
Exactly. Plus, AI can generate study guides from the content in multiple languages and even create PowerPoint presentations from a basic outline. He said that alone could save days of work.
Wow. That's not just distribution, that's significant content creation assistance. It's a massive leap from those early CDs.
Huge leap. It's like a dynamic, interactive digital library.
But the goal isn't just having a library, right? It's about mobilizing action, mobilizing for this harvest.
Absolutely. It all comes back to that. He shared that his ministry, Teach His Word, is basically restarting digitally and is looking for support and resources to scale these efforts up.
And it's not just about his own ministry.
No, it's critically about strategic partnerships. He highlighted working with Agnos Asia Ministry. Their focus is converting and packaging content specifically for what they call access-restricted nations in Asia.
Places facing persecution or instability.
Right. Government persecution, legal restrictions, political instability, ethnic or religious conflict zones. These areas represent half the world's population, and many major religions are dominant there. The goal isn't top-down control, but to facilitate, equip, and empower the local ministries on the ground.
Like his phrase, ties to the Thais, Vietnamese to the Vietnamese, empowering local leaders.
Precisely. He also mentioned collaborating with International Christian Mission, based in Singapore. They're working to reach countries like the Philippines, focusing on Tagalog speakers, and packaging their 12-volume curriculum for church planting.
It raises an important point, though. AI translation is fast, but is it always accurate, especially for nuances?
That's a crucial point he made. While AI speeds things up incredibly, human editing for translation accuracy and cultural nuance is still absolutely vital, especially for languages like Vietnamese or Thai.
So AI assists. It doesn't completely replace the human touch.
Correct. It's a powerful tool, but needs human oversight for quality and sensitivity.
Okay, so all these tools, partnerships, content types.
Yeah.
It leads to what he called an omni-channel strategy.
Yes, an omni-channel digital and AI engagement strategy. The idea is to reach a global audience basically everywhere people are online.
Meeting people where they are.
Exactly. And adapting the content for diverse needs and platforms. This means using a variety of content formats.
What kinds of formats did he list?
Well, ebooks and playbooks, he noted, AI can help write initial drafts on almost any subject, like, say, biblical parenting, within minutes, and then those can be translated.
Okay.
Interactive flip books for more visual engagement, maybe especially for children's material.
Makes sense.
Audiobooks and podcasts, obviously huge. Reaching people through their earbuds while commuting, exercising, whatever.
And video. Can't forget video.
Definitely not. Video courses for deeper learning. But also, importantly, video shorts and reels. Clipping highlights from longer videos for platforms like TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, using those as hooks to draw viewers to the full meal, the longer content.
Using bite-sized content to lead to deeper engagement. Smart strategy.
And finally, 24/7 live streaming, just acknowledging the sheer volume of video content consumed constantly worldwide and the need for the church, as he sees it, to offer good news amidst all that noise around the clock.
It's a comprehensive digital presence. So, wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, the listener? He had a strong call to action, didn't he?
He did, rooted in his personal motivation, drawing from a biblical parable, do business till I come. His point was, it's not retire till I come, or just kind of waiting around idly.
He used the local slang, didn't he? KLK till I come?
Yeah, kai laikum, which basically means hanging around doing nothing productive. His point was, no, it's about a lifetime for Jesus, being actively about my Father's business.
A call to active engagement, not passive waiting.
Exactly. And he threw out the challenge. Everyone can be involved, applying their unique time, talent, and resources to this effort.
And the urgency.
He reiterated that strongly. Time is running out, he believes. He mentioned events unfolding, saying action has already started in the Middle East. For him, there's a great urgency to mobilize the church to prepare the way for the king to return. That's the ultimate driver.
So as we wrap up, we've seen how technology, these digital tools and AI can bridge incredible gaps. Language, geography, access. It really makes you consider how this profound shift challenges our traditional understanding of what mission looks like and maybe what individual impact can be.
It does. So the final thought for you to ponder is this. What new ways of engaging with and sharing knowledge, maybe even spiritual knowledge, might you discover in this rapidly evolving digital landscape?